Hello, and thanks for visiting. I just picked up a new 2011 Trek Madone 4.5 and thought I'd share my initial impressions. The 4.5 is Trek's entry-level carbon fiber bike that features Shimano 105 components with the exception of the crank, brakes, and hubs. I wasn't sure if I was going to like the blue on the bike, but the matte black and the blue is actually kind of a subdued matte as well. They both look really sharp in person. The one thing that I did notice compared to my last shopping event some 15 years ago was there's a lot of Trek logos on this bike. In fact, I was taking some photographs of the underside of the bike to get the serial number, and there's even a logo right on the underside of the down tube in front of the bottom bracket. I guess that's in case I hit a squirrel or a frog or something, that just before he dies he can look up and see what it was that hit him and know that it's a Trek. Anyway, I'm upgrading from a very stiff 1987 Cannondale aluminum bike that I bought brand new, so just about everything on the Madone is an improvement. The Madone features a tall and beefy head tube, which is great for sitting more upright, and it's also used to stiffen the front of the bike when climbing out of the saddle and heavy cornering. The wheels are Bontrager SSRs with Bontrager hubs. They'll likely be my first upgrade, but I'm not in a big rush just yet. The brakes are unmarked, but they're specified as Tektro R540s. The purist in me wants to upgrade them to Shimano 105, but to be honest, they stop the bike just fine and I don't really have any complaints. I may upgrade them someday, just so everything matches, but it's not a priority at this point. This is my first bike with STI shifters, and although it is 20-year-old technology and kind of old news, they're new to me. I've been riding with down tube shifters on my old bike, so I love it. I've also had a high rise stem swapped in. I like to ride a little more upright than the average rider, and the computer there is temporary until Trek releases its new Node 1.1. Oh look, there's another Trek logo behind the headset, just in case I forget what I'm riding and have to look down at it. There's Bontrager's carbon fiber seat posts, and the seat that came with the bike was simply awful, so I swapped in this Bontrager Affinity RL that I'm trying out for a little while, see how that fits. I'm a Camelback user, but I went ahead and got some Bontrager RL composite water bottle cages for when I do go on longer trips and I pack an energy drink or two. This here is the R600 crank, and I use Shimano SPD mountain bike pedals. I like shoes that I can walk in, and I also like that these pedals can be entered off either side, so I can just step on them and away I go. So, oh look, another logo. And here's the back of the bike with the Shimano 105 derailleur, and the big upgrade for me, 10-speed cassette. My old Cannondale had 6 speeds. It was narrow gear range, so it was a great crit bike, and it was really great in flat land, but really terrible everywhere else, so I really love having the additional gears. Now if you look closely on the chainstay, you'll see a little nub sticking in. That's a pretty slick feature of the bike. That's a speed sensor for the DuoTrap sensor. I'll talk about that in a second, but the bike is made with a special port built right into the frame, and here I am taking the cover off. So to swap in a DuoTrap sensor, you just remove the one Allen bolt and pop off that access cover, and here you're going to see the inside of it. You can see how it goes straight on through to get to the wheel. And then you just insert the DuoTrap sensor. It goes in at about a 45-degree angle, and you push back at that same 45-degree angle toward the freewheel. Do not push inward like I'm doing right there. It's possible to brake. Just give it a little jiggling, it'll go right in, and then you feed the bolt in. In this, I'm struggling a little bit there. I've got a ball Allen, and you really don't want to use a ball Allen. The recess on that bolt head is kind of shallow, and so just use a standard key and it'll work much better and be a piece of cake. So once you get that thing tightened in there, and you don't need to tighten it very much or too much, there's a little finishing plug that goes on there to seal the deal and make it look pretty sweet. So once that's done, you're ready to go. All you need to do is pair the DuoTrap sensor with your Node 1, Node 2, or Garmin or other Ant Plus compatible device, and you're ready to roll. One of the features I forgot to mention of the bike in the opening is the BB90 bottom bracket. I mean, the thing is enormous, and that's there to provide a lot of lateral rigidity to the frame so that maximum power goes from the crank right to the wheel. And the rest of the bike is made to provide what they call vertical compliance so that it's more comfortable on rougher roads and overall compared to an aluminum bike. All right, I think that about wraps up my presentation of my 2011 Trek Madone 4.5. I suspect the 2012s will be very similar with the exception of a minor color change. They are still matte black, but I believe they have silver highlights instead of blue. The only thing I didn't cover that some buyers might want to know is the actual weight of the bicycle. I did my own research prior to buying and saw everything from 20 pounds all the way down to 10 pounds. I knew 10 pounds wasn't right, but I knew the bike wasn't going to be a tank. So I went ahead and bought it, but because I had to know, I put the bike on a certified scale. So with the computer, the high-rise stem, which is by Bontrager by the way, and the composite water bottle cages, which all of that combined is kind of negligible, and then my somewhat heavy spud pedals. The 58 centimeter bike weighs in at exactly 20.2 pounds. I figure I can shave off another 3/4 of a pound by upgrading my wheels, but it's not a priority. Right now I weigh over 200 pounds, so I'm going to focus on stripping weight from the motor first, and then perhaps next year I'll consider another set of wheels. But regardless, I'm pretty sure the bike is never going to weigh less than 19 pounds. I'm the type that's not going to go into component upgrades. I'm going to stick with Shimano 105 unless something breaks, and maybe I'll upgrade if that happens, but pretty much going to be a 19 to 20 pound bike. I'm also going to swap out that white handlebar tape. It gets dirty way too fast. I'll put some black on there. I think it'll look better anyhow. So I'll try to follow up with a video at some point with an actual ride review. And until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.